Hello, it is such a happy day today. It's our last day of finishing the fifth grade review book.
Yay!
Who's
Woo, woo! Last video. You never have to look at us again. I mean, you
oh,
better come visit us, but you don't have to look at us on Zoom.
yes. Okay. So you are going to be using your last two pages in your book, page 14 and 15. So in this video, it's simply just kind of copying down definitions. You'll notice on 15, it's already done for you. So we're combining both of these lessons into one video, but it still shouldn't be that long because it's not that much to write on the actual anchor chart other than definitions. So let's flip to 14 now and check out the paper. All right, so we're starting with angles, but we realized when we had already made this, we also want you to split each of these boxes in half because we want you to add the triangles on the side. And this is all stuff that we've learned over e-learning and during quarantine. So this is really important that you do continue practicing this since we didn't get to go over it in the classroom. So pause the video, copy all of this down, and specifically I want to point out all the angles, we did that together at school, but specifically on the right, the triangles, this is what you did the first week of e-learning when we were dressed as leprechauns and did that awesome video. So the top three are classifying the triangles by sides, and then the bottom three, right, obtuse and acute, are classifying them by angles. So make sure you remember that and pay attention to that. Your fifth grade teachers will know that this is what you did for e-learning and they'll definitely review it, but we definitely need to spend some time practicing that right now as well.
Perfect. All right, so now we are hopefully unpaused, and you can flip to the back of that page and pause this again. All right, so here are the answers for the back side of the angle page. On number 1, we have a little bit of fractions in here. So it says, what is another way to write 8/5? So on this one, it's kind of weird. I have to use my answer choices to figure out what in the world they're even talking about. I know 8/5 is an improper fraction. So really, when I initially saw this, I thought, oh, they want me to change it to a mixed number, which would be 1 3/5. But then I looked at my answer choices and I said, oh, no, that's not at all what they want me to do. They want me to add and subtract fractions until I find 8/5. So I just did the simple math for adding and subtracting. Remember, my denominator stays the same. And the only one that equaled 8/5 was D. That was my answer.
Awesome. Ooh, number 2, the protractor. All right, so this one is given for you. First thing I noticed right away is it says, use the figure below to answer questions 2 through 4. So this is going to carry us for 3 questions. All right, so number 2. And I'm noticing there's not just one angle measured on it. It's several different angles because they're marked with the letters. So this is where you have to pay attention to the angle name. So how many 1-degree angles are in angle LKM? That just means what is the measurement of LKM. And you'll notice the K is the vertex. So it's in the middle on our protractor. And so you're finding it's highlighted. Oh, it's not highlighted.
I was going to say, Mrs. Moore, on this one, I should have done 3 different colors, but I was afraid that would get really weird. Since LKM was kind of right there by itself, the one that I highlighted is actually for number 4 because it was like way far away. So if you had your protractor in front of you, I hope that the kiddos at home actually used maybe different colors, but I was afraid it would be too complicated on the video. So sorry to confuse you too, Mrs. Moore.
No, that's okay. I caught myself. So LKM, highlight that now. Pretend we're doing it with you. And first thing I notice is it looks acute because I'm picturing that 90-degree angle, that capital L. It's an acute angle. So that's going to help me as I'm looking at my numbers and checking my work. What you have to be careful with is where you start. So you know you can read the protractor both ways, but you're going to start at 0. So the L touches the 0, that line at the bottom, and you're starting on the outside numbers because the angle is opening out to the left. So that's why you're in outside numbers. And it's really little, but luckily I have my paper in front of me, and you're kind of counting up, and it is right almost at 35. So I notice it's obviously marked by multiples of 10, so that middle line in between on the protractor is worth 5, and then the little ticks are worth 1. So I can see it's one less of that 35 mark, so it must be a 34. And in my mind, I'm saying, yes, it looks acute and that measurement is acute, and I didn't get tricked and say it was 150 if I read the inside numbers, because if you look, D, that answer is also there. So be very careful on that one.
Perfect. So on number 3, I'm looking at the same protractor. For this one, I'm looking at angle NKJ. So this one is way up here. It's NKJ. So now I'm kind of looking on the opposite side of where Mrs. Moore was looking. And if I follow that angle, again, I can see that it's less than 90 degrees. So I can eliminate C and D right away because it's an acute angle. If I look at the protractor and I kind of go now from, I'm looking at those inside numbers to build up to that N. If I look at my paper here, I can see that it's between the 70 and the 80. I'm not going to use the 100 and the 110 because, again, I need to start at that 0, which is on the inside of the protractor, and I'm opening up to the right. So I use the inside numbers. So when I count up, I see that I'm almost halfway between the 70 and the 80. And the only option that's there for me is 74 degrees. And if I look above it, I can see that it's on that one tick mark right below it. So that one is 74 degrees.
Awesome. And then we have one more. Angle LKP, which this is the one that is highlighted on the screen for us. So right away, that's a big angle. It's obtuse. So I can mark out, like Miss Patterson said, definitely not a right angle. So mark out B, mark out A. So it has to be C or D. And really, I could 270. This protractor only goes to 180. So it's definitely not going to be D, but let's prove that it is C 150. So depending where it's touching, so which side are we going to start on? Well, look at the L is touching the 0, so we're looking at the outside numbers, and it's obtuse, so it opens all the way up to, oh, this one's easy. It's exactly on 150. So it's touching there. So that would be C 150 degrees. That one was an easy one. But we didn't just guess and go on, we proved it.
Perfect. All right, and then the last one, number 5, doesn't really have anything to do with angles at all, but it's just checking on our problem solving skills. So Pippa went shopping. She purchased 3 pairs of shoes, 2 jackets, and 5 hairbands. So you can see that I need to take the cost of each of those items and multiply it by how many items she bought. So I made a nice little organized list of how much she spent for shoes and jackets and hairbands, and then I put those 3 together. She spent $511.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. All right, now we're going to look at geometry. So go ahead and flip your page. This is our last page in our booklet, and really there's nothing to write. All you have to do is study these terms. That's it. Remember, there were some good Quizlets out there that you could use to study, and you just really need to practice these attributes and be familiar with the different shapes. One thing to note, sorry, Mrs. Moore, I couldn't tell if you were going to say it or me. The quadrilateral doesn't have a picture with it because quadrilaterals have 4 sides, 4 angles. In the 4th grade, we focus on all of these quadrilaterals. So that's why there's a big arrow there. Those are all quadrilaterals. They just have different attributes which make them unique.
That isn't what I was going to say, so I'm glad you said it. But specifically for this one, because this was during learning and we had lots of questions about the practice sheets that you were doing. I know it's not on the slide, but you know your part on the bottom. I would specifically look at any of these. iExcel, you know how to use it. Simple. Common Core Sheets has the answers there. You just don't look at the second answer page till you work it out. And then you also have Learn Zillion. So maybe choose at least one of those to help you practice, and you'll feel really confident heading into 5th grade with that extra practice.
Perfect. Good. All right, take a look at these and pause the video and come right back. All right.
All right. A lot of these, actually all of them, are symmetry. So I really want you to choose one of the other practices on the front. So which figure has more than one line of symmetry? So like Miss Patterson was explaining on our lesson a few videos ago, you have to think and fold how would the shape fold to fit perfectly, and that is a line of symmetry. So if we're looking, the only one, so A has one line of vertical symmetry straight up. B, the heart also has one line of vertical symmetry, I'm getting tongue-tied, straight up. And this little shape that looks like a sideways Pac-Man would also only have one vertical line straight up. So D, the diamond, or is this called a kite?
I would say a kite or a rhombus without really like measuring it out.
Studying it too carefully. It definitely has a vertical, straight up and down, and then a horizontal. So it has two from this picture that I can tell. So the answer is D, shape D.
Good. All right, number 2, which of the following letters has 0 lines of symmetry? You could take your pen or a colored pencil and actually draw the lines of symmetry. The only one that will not match up at all is F. F has 0 lines of symmetry.
Awesome. So now we're looking at the letters for 3 and 4. And this is kind of like what you did with your name, symmetry, all the letters. We've done this in class, so it shouldn't be that hard. I think we did this like right before it was e-learning. 3, which letter has 2 lines of symmetry? So if you go through, like Miss Patterson said, go through all of them. Q does not have a line of symmetry at all because that little, I don't know what to call it, the little foot that kicks out messes it up. Y has 1 vertical, E has 1 horizontal, and X can have 2 because it has a vertical and a horizontal. So DX.
Good, and Mrs. Moore just helped me with number 4 because again, 0 lines of symmetry. I've got the same 4 letters there, and Q has 0 lines of symmetry because of the cute little foot thing. I like that. The foot.
I just made it up. So
I like
it's a foot, apparently. All right, last question, guys. Who's excited? I am.
I am.
Great. All right, number 5. How many lines of symmetry does the figure below have? Simple. It's not a full circle. It has 1 just straight up and down, vertical. If you fold it over, it would match perfectly. So number 5 is B, 1.
Yay. All right, and that's it. We're done with the review.
Wow.
Do not throw this in the trash. Keep this
I was
here.
going to say, take a moment and look at your book like I am. I'm flipping through all the wealth of knowledge. These are all of our anchor charts from the year. Look at all that you have learned. We've taught you. We've reviewed. Do not throw this away, especially the first month of 5th grade when you're at the middle school. This can be your friend to help you.
Yep. You could even keep it in your book bag, and your 5th grade teacher will say, "Oh my gosh, look at you, smart kiddo."
Who were your teachers? Obviously, Miss Moore and Miss Patterson.
So we are so proud of you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us. You did a great job, and we miss you, and we'll see you soon. And yay, you're done. All right, have a great day. See you on the 29th.
Yeah.